That breaking news, the days-long firefight continues for firefighters in Southern California, but some homes with conditions improving. This is a look at video out of Palisades showing the organized air attack. And tonight we're getting a better scope of the devastation left behind and also the demand for answers from Governor Newsom. Thank you for joining us here at 4. I'm Andrea Flores.
I'm Lisa Gonzalez. So here's what we know right now. 10 people are confirmed dead. 8 of those 10 are from the Eaton fire and 2 are from the Palisades fire. This is video from the Palisades fire today. The fires have burned more than 10,000 homes and other structures since Tuesday when they first began popping up around a densely populated 25-mile area north of downtown Los Angeles.
And here are the fires we're tracking right now. Palisades fire in Pacific Palisades, the Eaton fire north of Pasadena, that's in Altadena, and the Kenneth fire, which just started yesterday but has been tamped down by an aggressive response from firefighters. And the newest fire is the Archer fire, which started today near Granada Hills.
We do have some new images we want to show you from the Eaton fire. It shows just how much devastation there is in Altadena. And you can see this aerial footage there showing home after home leveled by the fire. Here are the latest numbers. CAL FIRE says the fire has burned nearly 13,700 acres. It's just 3% contained. More than 4,000 structures have been damaged or destroyed. And today, one Los Angeles County supervisor said that several people who have lost their homes are now dealing with claim denials from FEMA.
Is completely mind-boggling to me that people who have lost everything are filling out a form as told and then are getting an immediate denial.
Immediate denial, that's what we're hearing. She says she's working to get answers for fire victims within the next 24 hours. Now, the National Guard is in Altadena right now to prevent looting. They're also checking driver's licenses of people as residents are trying to return home just to make sure they do indeed live there. A curfew is now in place from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
More than 5,000 structures have been burnt in the Palisades fire. CAL FIRE says it's 21,000 acres so far. It is 8% contained since breaking out on Tuesday. The fire burned all the way up to the Pacific Ocean, burning beachfront homes in Malibu.
The Archer fire started today, and take a look at this video showing firefighters trucking up a hill to build containment lines. And you can already see the burned areas. The fire is 19 acres, no containment on this. The cause of all of these fires is under investigation.
We have live team coverage right now with our meteorologist Dirk Verdorn tracking the changing conditions and more on Governor Newsom launching a new investigation into these fires.
But first, we want to go live to KCRA 3's Melanie Wingo in Pacific Palisades. Melanie, you've been speaking to people there on the ground. What are they telling you?
Oh, for every person we meet, there's a different story about how the Palisades fire has affected them. Right now, we're along Pacific Coast Highway, and we're at yet another location where we are seeing so much destruction. Evacuation orders are still in effect for areas across Pacific Palisades. And today, we had a chance to go tour some other neighborhoods that have been affected by this fire. And one of the things that we've noticed as well is that not only are firefighters still working to put out lingering hotspots and flames within the debris of destroyed homes and buildings, there are also water, energy, and utility workers with their big trucks and gear and equipment attempting to assess and fix what's been destroyed or compromised. Earlier today, we stopped just north of where we are right now to see how those crews are attempting to deal with destruction along Pacific Coast Highway at the water's edge. We are seeing spots all up and down Pacific Coast Highway where this is the case. It's clear that the Palisades fire jumped over the highway itself. You can see where it came down these hillsides and made its way and flattened all of these businesses and restaurants that were in its path. And today, even though we can still see smoke coming off of this debris, crews are hard at work trying to clear things away and also to restore the infrastructure that was taken down. Things like power lines and utility poles. There's a ton of debris all up and down this stretch of the highway. And here's yet another component of what the fire can rob from a community. It's schools, of course, they're not just structures. They are places where families meet and grow together. And we did visit one school, and I hope you can see the video right now. I'm not sure if it's up, but it's Marquez Charter Elementary School, and it has been destroyed by the fire. The front of the school is buckling and crumbling. The rest of the buildings are absolutely unrecognizable. And now another part of us covering stories just like this is respecting what is left behind. So when we cover fires, we do not traverse onto people's property unless we have express permission from homeowners to do so. We got that permission today, and we'll have that part of the story coming up at 5 o'clock. But for now, reporting live in Pacific Palisades, Melanie Wingo, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, and it's absolutely important to point that out. We want to respect everyone within those fire lines and evacuation zones. Melanie, thank you so much. And we want to go to meteorologist Dirk Verdor now with a check on the conditions. So, Dirk, how are the winds today?
Well, let's take a look at the current wind speeds. These are the sustained wind speeds. We're seeing wind speeds anywhere from 5 to 13 miles per hour. So, again, winds have died down considerably. We still are seeing some gusts over the mountains that are ranging between 20 to 30 miles per hour, but those are a little bit more typical for this time of year. What's most notable here is we have more of an onshore breeze. So we're not seeing the strong north to northeast winds that we've been seeing over the past 3 days. Now we've seen more of an onshore breeze starting to pick up, and that should help. But unfortunately, it's not going to stay that way. Currently, you can see the fires that are burning. You have the Eaton Fire and the Palisades Fire. Those are the two biggest fires producing the most smoke. So they're burning the most fuel. Palisades Fire is the one that's putting out the most smoke, but you can see that kind of shifting a little bit more to the east from the south. Air quality, another thing we're watching here. We do have levels that are unhealthy for sensitive groups from Torrance all the way up past Los Angeles and then off towards, again, El Monte, Downey. Those are areas that are currently in that area of orange showing unhealthy levels of air quality right now with the smoke that's caught up in the LA basin. We are looking at some stronger winds that are going to be coming in the forecast. We'll have more details about that coming up, but now we'll turn it back over to you.
Dirk, thank you so much. Right now, calling for an investigation and inviting President-elect Donald Trump to California. It's been a busy afternoon for Governor Gavin Newsom as he and his administration are working to respond to the wildfires.
KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala is in the studio right now to explain the governor's action. Ashley?
Lisa and Andrea, let's start with the letter. Governor Gavin Newsom sent a formal invitation to President-elect Donald Trump. He sent this to have him meet with fire victims, tour wildfire devastation, and for the two of them together to thank first responders. Now, in that letter, which was about a page long, the governor wrote in part, "We are thankful that President Biden has swiftly approved our major disaster declaration, a strong indication of the partnership California needs and appreciates with any federal administration." However, the threat to lives and property remains acute. The governor went on to say, quote, "In the spirit of this great country, we must not politicize human tragedy or spread disinformation from the sidelines. Hundreds of thousands of Americans displaced from their homes and fearful for the future deserve to see us all working in their best interests to ensure a fast recovery and rebuild." And he then went on to sign this letter by saying, "With respect and an open hand, Governor Gavin Newsom." Now, we did reach out to President-elect Trump for a response. We are still waiting to hear back. Now, the other action the governor took today also involved a letter. This one sent to Los Angeles local officials demanding an investigation into the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power over the water supply issues as firefighters try to fight these fires. This comes following reports of a lack of water for hydrants and an empty reservoir in the area. Newsom has directed fire and water officials in his own administration to look into this and for city officials to do the same. Another action state leaders also took as a whole today. They took action to prevent property insurance companies from dropping or not renewing policies for those victims in that wildfire zone.
So, Ashley, just a quick question here. Going back to that letter, this is pretty interesting, and a lot of people probably want to know the answer to this, but have Governor Newsom and President-elect Trump talked since the election?
As far as we know, the answer to that is no. We know Governor Gavin Newsom reached out to the president-elect right after the election. The governor and the president-elect have both said they had a really good working relationship in Trump's first term. Since the election, it's been a bit rocky because days after Trump was elected president, Governor Gavin Newsom did call a special legislative session for his state to protect itself essentially, from the incoming administration. Governor Gavin Newsom has been asked repeatedly over the last few weeks if he has yet had his phone call returned from the president-elect. The governor has said no. Again, we'll see if the president-elect says anything in response to this letter.
All right, Ashley, thank you for staying on top of it for us. Now, the White House is sending more help to Southern California. Kaylin Norwood shows us the briefing this morning with President Biden, Governor Newsom, the mayor of Los Angeles, and Vice President Kamala Harris.
President Biden says a lot of people are unaccounted for, and the death toll from the fires is likely to increase. This as the White House says Navy helicopters are now en route among other resources to help stop the fire, but stopping the spread is not the only concern. As wildfires burn in Los Angeles, California's governor and the city's mayor meeting virtually with President Biden and Vice President Harris in the Oval Office.
We're going to keep working 24/7 to support state and local officials to fully stop these fires as soon as possible.
Communities in the country's second largest city remain on edge as homes and businesses burn. Biden says his administration is providing resources to help fight those fires and keep people and their property safe.
The DOD is in full bore with this. We're providing everything from security through the military, the National Guard, supplementing the National Guard, because there's clear evidence that there's looting.
The Pentagon says over 600 California National Guardsmen have been activated,
including 14 hand crews for fuel mitigation, 200 military police for security operations, and 10 helicopters for firefighting and search and rescue operations.
FEMA's Administrator Deanne Criswell, who's on the ground, says they're helping cover the costs for those who evacuated and supporting longer-term shelter and housing needs.
Recovery from these fires is going to be complex. I've seen many disasters throughout my 4 years in this role. This is certainly one of the worst that I have seen.
Criswell says they should have the funds to help those in need thanks to the additional $27 billion received from Congress.
We are now able to continue to support the ongoing recovery efforts for all of the disasters that we've been supporting.
President Biden acknowledges there is still a long way to go before this is over. He says the incoming administration has been briefed and is up to speed on the situation. Reporting from Washington, I'm Kaylin Norwood.